Welcome to episode 10 of Everything Sports with Aman. I'm your host, Aman and I talk about the hottest topics in sports over the course of the past week. And real quick, I want to say that this Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time, I have a 1,000 subscriber special live stream on YouTube, and I'm gonna go over the weekend sports news, so there will be no weekend wrap up this upcoming Monday. I'm going to answer the questions you guys asked me on Instagram. And on the screen, you guys will see me picking my March Madness brackets because brackets open 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time, which is when I'm starting the live stream. And today I'm going to talk about Dak Prescott's new deal, the problem with the NFL franchise tag, NFL free agency, NBA trade deadline, and Juventus and Barcelona's early and surprising exit from the UEFA Champions League. So now, Dak Prescott's deal is 4 years, $160 million, which could be worth up to $164 million, $126 million guaranteed, $75 million in his first season, and a $66 million signing bonus. And I think the Cowboys massively overpaid for Dak Prescott because he should not be paid behind Patrick Mahomes. And I believe in my last episode, I said that he should get 126 million guaranteed or something like that, but he is worth 30 to 35 million. He is definitely not worth 40 million a year. That's my opinion. And yes, he's a leader on the team and all that, but Dak Prescott, would you even call him elite? He's really good, which is not elite. Elite's like amazing, top of the top, like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. And Cowboys, I don't know what or why they did this. And this is like a lesson for all sports teams in general. Like, don't do what Jerry Jones did to Dak Prescott, because the more you wait, the more leverage these players get. Like, Jerry Jones waited a long time to finally pay Ezekiel Elliott, and then he caved. And now with Dak Prescott's situation, you could have got him for cheaper if you just paid him before he got hurt. And now he wanted a 4-year deal, 5-year deal. You finally gave him a 4-year deal, and now he's being paid right behind Patrick Mahomes. So you finally listened to Dak Prescott. But my question is, why did it take so long? What were you waiting for? Like, were you seeing that all the free agents were being signed and then in panic you signed him, or you believe in Dak Prescott? Because Jerry Jones, if this is Tony Romo, would have paid him in a heartbeat. I don't think he believes in Dak Prescott. I feel like it's one of the coaches or someone within the organization convinced him to finally pay him. That's my view of it because of how long it finally took to pay Dak Prescott. And he got his bag, credit to him. And let's see what the Cowboys can do, because they have not made it to the Super Bowl in more than 2 decades. They've won 3 playoff games since their last Super Bowl, and that's the last time they made it to the conference championship. So Cowboys have been the laughing stock, one of the laughing stocks of the league, because they are not America's team. And as Stephen A. Smith says, what can go wrong will go wrong, and he is true. But now with that, the problem with the NFL franchise tag, in my opinion, I just hate it because players don't want to play for organizations. Like you saw with Kirk Cousins, they just franchise tag him. And if they hold out, their value could decrease. So essentially, this franchise tag, you're making the player waste a year of his career in an organization that he doesn't like and doesn't want to play for. And you're forcing that guy to play. And it's another thing when you tag a player just to get a long-term deal. And that's the other point of view of the franchise tag. The 1-year franchise tag allows them to sell for a long-term deal. And if you just need to franchise tag a player to work out a long-term deal, then I don't think franchise tags should be, there should be like a 2-month franchise tag, a 4-month franchise tag, a 6-month franchise tag, and 1-year franchise tag. And organizations can only get one of those franchise tags per player. And if they cannot reach a long-term deal with that player, then that player hits free agency that following year, even though they don't want to play for that organization. This gives them peace of mind that the organization is not allowed to keep franchise tagging me over and over and over and over again. And I just don't like the franchise tag for that. I never really got why the franchise tag was as long as it is, like one whole season, just to see how a player does. Like, organizations get more time to assess the player because, for example, Deshaun Watson, he got paid, rightfully so, right? For example, if he played amazingly well and organizations had doubts about him, they can just franchise tag him. And if he sucks the next season, he is not going to get his money's worth. And that's the problem with the franchise tag, because the season a player can suck, but then be really good the season before that, the organization has leverage to pay them less just because of the season that they struggled in. And then their value decreases. And that's why franchise tag should be shorter. And I feel like my proposition to the NFL is fair, that you have like 4 different franchise tags periods, maybe just do a 3, 6, 9, and 12-month franchise tag to help out the players, and it helps the organization because their impression to us fans will be a good impression, because if they can't keep the player, they can't keep the player. And the more you let a player rot in your organization, the more the organization itself looks more like the bad guy. And just take out this 1-year-long franchise tag if you're just going to waste a player's career. I don't like seeing players' careers get wasted. And that's just my opinion on it. Now we go to the NFL free agency, where earlier today we saw Cam Newton re-signing and Tom Brady getting a 1-year extension, which is great news. Cam Newton got a 1-year deal up to $14 million. And last year was obvious he clearly got underpaid, but part of it was due to his injuries and being underpaid by the Patriots and being cut by the Panthers. And with that, factoring in all that, Bill Belichick's first time without Tom Brady, obviously Tom Brady winning down in Tampa Bay all the way to the Super Bowl and winning it. Bill Belichick just didn't know what he was getting out of Cam Newton, and I feel like he saw the leadership in the locker room, the way he played. He was playing at an MVP level before he got diagnosed with the coronavirus, and after that, he was never the same player. And if the coronavirus wasn't there, who knows? We might be looking at Cam Newton and saying he's an MVP. He was playing like that. He came a down away from beating the Seahawks, a play away from beating the Bills, beating the Cardinals, beating the Dolphins. They've gotten quality teams. And who does Cam Newton have to work with? Like, he has a receiver called Bird, N'Keal Harry, who's a draft bust. N'Keal Harry was picked before like guys like Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf would be perfect with Bill Belichick, but they chose N'Keal Harry. They need to get Kenny Golladay. Speaking of free agency, sign a receiver like Will Fuller, Kenny Golladay, Juju Smith-Schuster maybe to pair with Cam Newton. That would be fun. Cam Newton and Juju and Patriots in New England. I feel like New England can make some noise if they get Juju or like Kenny Golladay or some receiver that can help Cam, because Cam can't keep running. And it made him look like a horrible quarterback because he had no one to pass to other than Rex Burkhead, and Edelman is honestly on the back end of his career. But Tom Brady getting a 1 year extension. All I gotta say is he is the greatest quarterback to ever live, greatest NFL player maybe. He won 7 Super Bowls in 10 Super Bowl appearances. How are you that great? He's turning 44 in August. He's gonna play past 45. This is insane. Like he's vegan too. Imagine, say, your 44-year-old dad playing in the NFL with all these injuries and being this great. And his greatness, he is great. He is a legend because he has sustained greatness over a long period of time. You can't just be great for 3 seasons and fall off. You can't do that. That's not being legendary. Legendary is greatness over a long period of time. That's what Tom Brady has achieved. Obviously, deserved this 1 year extension. This clearly signals he's playing past 45. Let's see if he plays until 50. That would be amazing. And that's all I wanted to cover for NFL free agency. We'll see by Sunday if anything big happens in the NFL, because now we're going to the NBA trade deadline where we have guys like Andre Drummond, Kyle Lowry, Kemba Walker, Victor Oladipo, and Kelly Oubre possibly being traded. And Drummond, I don't like the fact like Draymond Green in that press conference where he called out teams saying they could do anything they want to the players, but it's not going to be a bad thing. And when players request a trade, it's a bad thing. And he is 100% right about that. Think about when Andre Drummond, I believe his first game being held out was against the Warriors, or like a couple games before that. He's being held out for a trade. Imagine that long period of time that Drummond is out. What is he supposed to do? Just sit on the bench, watch people playing the sport he loves on the team he signed with or got traded to, and you're just going to trade him. Like, I get, for example, James Harden, he still played while requesting a trade, and they held him out when they were clear that they were going to trade him. At least let Andre Drummond play and then tell him to stay home for maybe a week until you find out a trade for him. Because it's unfair to Drummond that, for example, I'm saying what Draymond Green said because he said it perfectly. A player has to stay in shape, and they have it in their contracts that they can't speak anything about their organization. So, like, a player is supposed to stay in shape just to help the team when the team is doing nothing to help you. And I just don't like the way. I get if Andre Drummond is a trade target, just don't hold him out for this long. Kyle Lowry publicly saying that, oh, I'm going to be traded soon. I say you trade him. The Raptors aren't doing as well as we thought they would this season, partly because they lost Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. That was a huge loss for them. And Kemba Walker, he's not been playing like Kemba Walker. I feel like maybe a Kemba Walker Kyle Lowry swap would help both teams. And I think the problem is Kemba Walker was more of the main guy his whole career. And even last season, he was a main guy. And he was a starter. Yeah, he was a starter the past couple of seasons. Like when he was in Charlotte, he made the All-Star game. He was clearly the main player there. And then last year in Boston, Jason Tatum didn't break out. Well, he did break out, but he didn't make the All-Star game. Kemba Walker needs to be the main guy on a team in order to flourish. And Victor Oladipo, I was surprised that the Pacers actually traded him, but now he is going to enter free agency after the season. A team that wants Victor Oladipo, he'll definitely help because he brings that shooting, that ball handling, and that defense to some teams. And for example, this maybe Kelly Oubre and some picks from the Warriors because Bob Myers said like there's no reason the Warriors can't be aggressive in the NBA trade deadline, and they're clearly taking calls. Like Kelly Oubre talked the first part of the season, and then now he's doing well for the Warriors, getting trade interest from certain teams. Like, and then players that are unlikely to be traded. Bradley Beal is going to stay for the Wizards. I don't know why there's still rumors about that. Kristaps Porzingis, I'd probably say is unlikely, and Dallas Mavericks should trade him, but I don't think they will because Cuban keeps downplaying it, and then you're just going to end up backstabbing Kristaps Porzingis for no reason. And Drummond is going to go. He's going to go to like a title contender, the Lakers. He'd be. I don't want to see it as a Warriors. As a Warriors fan, I don't want to see Drummond going to the Lakers. And the Lakers, if they get him, he's that big man they need. Play Hero. Well, Hero's playing off the bench. Like you have Anthony Davis as your power forward and Andre Drummond. And all of Andre Drummond's career, he's been so underrated, and I never understood why. Because year in, year out, he leads the league in blocks and rebounds. He should be Defensive Player of the Year sometime. That's how I feel about him, and he's being undervalued. Like the Pistons got Brandon Knight, John Henson, and a second, and they traded Andre Drummond to the Cavaliers. How does that make sense? I don't get it. That's what's going on with the NBA trade deadline. And now we go to Juventus and Barcelona. Barcelona, Lionel Messi is going to leave. There's no stopping that. His contract's going to expire in June, I believe. And Manchester City, I remember there was a scandal with them overpaying players, going over the cap and salary limit without no one noticing. And they should have been suspended, but in the end, it was ruled that they're not going to get suspended. And if you have that scandal, I don't know how you would pay Lionel Messi. And if Messi wants to go to a different team, Real Madrid would be perfect if he wants to stay in Spain and, play against his former team, because that manager and owner is doing nothing to get players next to him. Like Luis Suarez left Barcelona to Atletico Madrid, and now you have Messi disgruntled here in Barcelona. And his family is sad that he wants to leave Barcelona because, like, he said himself, like, his kids have friends and everything like that. There's a great life in Barcelona. Who wouldn't want to live in Barcelona? And manager didn't help Messi at all. And as for Ronaldo, the past few years in Juventus, he has accomplished absolutely nothing. I think he should have gone to a better known team. Juventus was already well known. They made it to the UEFA Champions League finals against Real Madrid, who Ronaldo beat. When he was on Real Madrid, he beat Juventus and he signed with Juventus. And Juventus has clearly been doing worse with Ronaldo. They should look to maybe selling him. As great as he is, he's clearly been doing worse on Juventus, because Juventus is getting affected by Ronaldo playing. I don't know how you can say it. And Paulo Dybala, he was on fire. He's still a great player, but he's playing in Ronaldo's shadow, and Dybala was clearly doing way better without Cristiano Ronaldo. And with that, that ends episode 10 of Everything Sports with Aman. Tune in this Sunday to my 1,000 subscribers special live stream at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or next week on Friday for episode 11 of Everything Sports with Aman.